Welcome back to another episode of Motivate with Coach Camp. I, of course, am your host, Coach Camp, and we're down here in the very brightly lit and beautiful studios of SRP with Mr. Derek Michaud. Okay, folks, let's jump into this real quick. So I like to cover a lot of topics, and sometimes you are brought into something that maybe I wasn't even familiar to or knew much about, and then we both learn at the same time. Well, that's going to be kind of our conversation today, because today I have Miss Debbie King. She is the president of the Southaven Chamber of Commerce. To be perfectly honest with you, I didn't know a lot about what the chamber offered before I got my LLC and started doing my public speaking, started doing the podcasting. Then I met more people, and I was very fascinated and intrigued. And I figured, here it is. I am a part of society. And I didn't even know what all the chamber did and offered. So I think you guys are going to learn a lot about it, but you're going to learn a lot about the person, the president, and what drove her to being that individual. So I want you to stick around. Do not go anywhere. This could be a fun, I'm going to say educational conversation we're going to have. But you know my thing, got to stick around for just a few seconds, because I got to send a little bit of love out there to my sponsors. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to have a quick second to let you guys know how much it means to me that you are my sponsor. SRP Studios, The Real Hernando, The Rhythm Section, Hardwick Heating, Cooling, and Air Quality, Estes Grading, Hodge Homes, Adair Honey Farm, Miss Hippie Eats, Phones R Us, Ross Sod Farms and Landscaping, Ivy Rain Women's Clinic, Tonic POS by Tyler Young, and Coffee Central. Thank you guys so much for being a sponsor. If you'd like to be a sponsor, go to my website now, motivatecoachcamp.com, and click on the button. Thank you. All right, folks, welcome back. Here we are with Miss Debbie King from Southaven Chamber of Commerce. How's it going, Debbie?
Great. Good
to see you.
Good to see you.
It's a dark evening. It's getting dark soon now. It's cold. It's wet. And yet here you are. Yeah,
it is not my favorite time of the year. But
mine either.
I'm solar powered.
That's what I like to hear. So y'all learning stuff already. And we're about to change the clocks back, since it's going to be getting dark at 4 o'clock in the morning. By the time y'all are watching this, it's dark outside already, early. And I don't really care for that part of the time either. I like the lack of bugs, but other than that, I'm not a big fan. So let me ask you something real quick. So you are the president of the Southaven Chamber of Commerce, but I also read the CEO.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen? How do you become the chief executive officer? How does that happen for a chamber? I'm just curious.
Well, the buck stops with me.
Oh, okay.
You have a team, typically. Chambers usually run pretty lean. We're a nonprofit, a 501c6, and we're member-based, member-led.
Mm-hmm.
We're governed by a board of directors. A lot of people think that we're a department or an arm of the city, because each city has a chamber of commerce. Not true.
Yeah, I always thought that too. I was fascinated when I started reading through. I'm like, nonprofit. I thought every city had to have that. So does every city not have to have a chamber?
No.
Wow.
No. Our chamber was established. Our articles of incorporation were 11 years before Southaven was even a city.
Are you serious? Well, what was Southaven before the city?
We were incorporated in 1969.
Okay. Well, you know what? It seems like I had some friends that were kind of evolving and morphing into the fire department at that time. And EMS was volunteer back in those days. It wasn't even a paid. So there's so much to talk about. I was just curious, wanted to jump straight to that before we got deeper into who Debbie King is, where she came from. But that is interesting to know then. I didn't realize that every city didn't automatically have a chamber, and I thought it was always attached to the city hall. So we're going to learn a bunch.
We helped grow that city.
Did you? Yeah.
The Chamber of Commerce helped recruit and start economic development for Southaven. Southaven is the youngest city nestled amongst a lot of history, like Hernando.
Mm-hmm.
Hernando's
1839, I think, is when it was established. Yeah.
We were incorporated in 1980. So we're a very young city to be the third largest in the state of Mississippi.
I was going to say, it's got to be one of the biggest too then. And DeSoto County is the largest county.
Yes. Per
capita anyways. I don't know about size-wise as far as square mileage, but definitely the largest in population.
Yes.
And Southaven is leading the charge on that. You guys in Olive Branch, somewhere in there. Always back and forth, yin and yang. So let's jump into who Debbie King is, because for someone to take on the president's role, the CEO of the chamber, which now we've already learned a little bit about the infancy of it in the big scope of things, but then the importance of it as far as the city is concerned. Where did Debbie grow up? Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Nashville, Tennessee. We moved when I was 4 to Corinth, Mississippi.
I know that place.
my mom and dad got divorced when I was 14, and my dad stayed. We lived in West Tennessee in a little bitty town called Mickey. And it's right across the state line on Highway 22, like you're going to Pickwick, Tennessee.
Oh,
from
okay.
Corinth.
Yeah.
And I went to school at Mickey Junior High School, elementary and junior high. And then I went to McNary Central and graduated. Home of Buford Pusser, walking tall.
Yeah. So what was the like class size?
We had probably 18 to 20 in our class.
For the senior class?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
For like each one of the classes that we switched.
What was the graduating class? I should have asked that better. That's a bad question. Hey, look, it's been a long day. This is like 6:17 p.m. We both worked all day long and it's wet. We already talked about that. So what was like a graduating class size for you?
Right under 200, I think.
Okay, so that's pretty average to what it was for me. And I graduated from Horn Lake. I was expecting you to say like 20. No. Which is, small towns
we weren't
have
that small, but it was because we in the county had two options for high school. McNary County, you either went to Adamsville High School or you went to McNary Central. Okay.
And did you have brothers or sisters?
So that's a story in itself. I come from a blended family. Okay. So I had two older siblings from my mom's first marriage. I had an older sibling from my dad's first marriage, and then my younger sister and myself. So we never grew up knowing anything but brothers and sisters. We didn't know they were half. We had no idea.
What was the age range, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, gosh. My brother was 16 years older than me.
Okay. So all of that builds the person you are. And I think it's not foreign to anybody. I'm not saying something that's just wildly profound. But, everybody is that you have influences put into your life. And so when you have these brothers, sisters, different age ranges, they're pouring into you and you're learning from them. So what kind of influence did that have on you growing up?
Good and bad. Yeah. So I had very good taste in music. Like lots of old school rock, lots of R&B. I had really, really good taste in music.
Who influenced that?
My older brother, my older sister, my mom and dad were old country. So between rock, country, and Western, both kinds.
Yes.
And the introduction of, rap and R&B. So music played a big part in my life, still does. Yeah. But I lost my older brother when he was 41. He had a massive heart attack in his sleep. He was an alcoholic and a recreational drug user. And so a couple of stints in rehab and just battled demons part of his life. My younger sister, that is same mom
parent.
And dad, she also was a drug addict. So she had a son, and when he was 2, she went to jail for drugs. And my husband and I went to my mom and said, "Do you want to be grandma or mom?" And she said, "Grandma." I was pregnant with my son, and so we went through we retained an attorney and got custody of my nephew, and a family of none became a family of 3 because my husband had a daughter. So I had a stepdaughter. So
how old were you at that time?
28.
So at 28, so this really does build a story. So then at 28, you have been around some tragedy at a young age, relatively young age, and I
lost my dad at 19.
Wow. So more tragedy, and along the way you have this big heart and this desire to help. And so then you find this need. So you go and you adopt. Did you adopt your nephew or just let him come stay with you?
Well, we did not adopt him because he was the last to carry on the name.
Oh, I got you.
For my maiden name. And so we got permanent guardianship, permanent custody of him. We drew up papers so that if my sister was ever on the right side and the good path, and just it was conditional for her to be able to get him back, but that never happened.
Yeah. Well, and I'm assuming then these kids are all grown up now, doing big things.
My nephew is 30. He is in his 4th year of med school.
Wow.
He is working on match process now to go into wherever he's going to land as a doctor, and I believe he wants to be a surgeon.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I got news for you, man. There is a need for great surgeons all across this country, and it does feel like at times it's thinned, but it could just be population-based. So I might be overstating that. But, man, it really does. It takes forever to get in to have a surgery if it's not emergency. And the wait list is for you. I'm telling you stuff that I know because I've had to deal with it on some of my injuries. So we fast forward a little bit to 28, but when you were in your teens, what did Debbie see Debbie doing? What were you thinking about for a career? What was like leading you or like your passion?
I wanted to go to college. I loved to learn. My parents wanted me to go to work. My dad signed a work permit at 14 for me to be able to work. All they wanted was for me to graduate high school. Once I had a high school diploma, I was on my own. It was whatever you want to do. So
you wanted to go to college. Was there something in particular you wanted to study or, go down a career path of? Or?
Yes, I was very intrigued with Perry Mason, and I thought that I wanted to be a paralegal.
Oh, okay. And so did you pursue that in college?
So I didn't get to go to college immediately.
Okay.
I went to work. I was right out of high school, just graduated. My mom called and said, hey, your little sister tried to kill herself, and I need your help. I need you to move up here. Up here was Hernando, Mississippi.
Oh, okay. So it was where we are now.
And so they lived off of Love Road. And so I moved in. I don't know how I was supposed to help because my little sister and I were like oil and water, night and day. But did what I could, decided to go to Northwest. So I enrolled and was going to school to be a paralegal. My dad got cancer of the throat, and I was taking him back and forth to chemotherapy twice a week. So it just didn't work out for me to finish school.
And you were 19 at that time.
Yes. Yeah. So I was young, didn't happen, went to work. I worked 3 jobs. I worked at Service Merchandise. I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
I worked at Graceland, and I worked at Kroger on State Line Road. Wow. I lived in a low-income apartment in Horn Lake.
By yourself?
Yeah.
At 19?
Yeah.
Wow. That's growing up quick, not necessarily your choice, but you went for it. You were doing it. You were making it happen. So then when do you meet your husband? How old are you?
The first one.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I was 22. He was a Marine. And that just didn't work out. Okay. That's a long story. We don't have enough. You don't have enough time.
So that's a therapy session of a month or two, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you get married. And look, there's definitely so many people that don't understand that, myself included. You get married young. You have these ideas, ambitions, thoughts. And when you're young like that, let's just be fair to young people. You think you know stuff, and then you get older and realize you didn't know as much as you thought you knew. And that's me included with a cherry on top. So when you get married, how long are you married before you
5
realize?
years.
So 5 years. So it wasn't like 5 months.
No.
So you took a run at it, didn't work out. So then at this point,
he decided he liked somebody better. We'll put it that way.
Fair enough. And so then whenever that is delete button, how old are you? And then when do you meet your next husband?
I am 25 years old. I moved back I was in Florida. I moved back to Mississippi, moved back to Hernando, and stayed with my mom to figure out what I was going to do, save up enough money to get my own place. Met the love of my life when I worked in the casino industry. He worked in the casino industry as well.
What'd you do?
You name it.
Oh, well, everything.
You name it.
Well, I worked down there too. I was at EMT.
I started as a slot attendant at Valley's Casino in 1997.
Okay.
And worked my way up. I worked in the marketing department for a while. I worked in table games. And I just, every opportunity they would give you to train and learn.
You took it.
I took it. And they spared no expense. So Dale Carnegie, yes, sign me up. Anything you want me to learn. Toastmasters, you want me to learn how to speak in public, sign me up. Anything you want to do, let me learn. Let me do it.
Where did that ambition come from?
I think it was a hunger to do it better than my parents. They worked hard their whole life, and I'm not afraid of working hard. But I wanted to make sure that I was able to provide.
Yeah.
I found Jesus and figured all of that. Well, he found me, actually.
Yeah.
And learned my proper role as a wife and still continued to be that helper to my husband. So we married 2 years later in 97, had my son. I wasn't supposed to have children. I was told I could never have children and got pregnant and had my son at 28. And so we went from no children to 3 children.
3 children, almost like boop, instant family.
Yes.
Plug in here. Can I pull something together here?
Sure.
Because I think this is the fascinating part to what is podcasting in general, right? When you have guests come in, I have some ideas about who you are. We've known each other a little bit now, got to speak at some conferences together. You know of my family, some of my family's trials and tribulations. My son right now is going through some rehab issues himself. We all have life.
Yes.
God, we have life.
Yeah.
It hits, and it's not fair always. And you didn't ask for it. You didn't want it. You didn't sign up and say, hey, life, give me all these trials and tribulations. I can't wait. Let's go. No, you wake up and you think of the flowers and the sunshine and the rainbows, and you're like, I want this life. And then all of a sudden, life's like, we're going to just put you in here and shake it real hard. And you're like, how do I respond? Well, from a very early age, it sounds like you were putting a lot of building blocks into place and figuring it out for yourself. And when you were forced into a position at 19 where all of a sudden you're all by yourself and you're having to work 3 jobs, you could have laid down and said, this ain't fair. I give up. I quit.
Yep.
But Debbie said, nope. No, I'm going to figure this out for myself. And you hammered down. And then you meet a guy. Now, I'm just pulling all this together because this is fascinating, and it does every single thing that I'm about to say here goes hand in hand with being president of the Chamber of Commerce. I promise y'all guys, stay on board. Don't get off yet. So here it is now. You meet this guy. You go down a road of 5 years. We ain't got to go into the details, but clearly it didn't work. Alert. Now you're back out there again and you're like, man, I don't even know what's going to happen. 3 years-ish go by and you meet the guy, the one, the man. You get with him. And you were down at the casinos. And now it's like, man, this is the one. This is who I want to be with. You get married. But in that process, in that time, let's look at what Debbie was doing. Because, see, I ask you the question, and maybe sometimes people do stuff and they don't always have all the dots connected. You're at the casino and you're taking every opportunity you have to learn every aspect that you can. And really what you're doing is building life skills. Life skills that will play out in a Chamber of Commerce where you have a very diverse community full of businesses with lots of backgrounds and people from all walks of life that you're going to have to blend with and understand and help them grow in a way that they can't even see sometimes. That's what you were doing. You were subconsciously, maybe not knowing at the time, that I'm going to follow this path. And you mentioned that you had found God. And I'll promise you this is the final connecting piece. And we're going to move down the road more with Debbie King. But this is the piece I see. All of a sudden, you found God, and God's like, tell you what, Debbie, you don't know this path that I'm about to put you on, but I'm going to need you to be this person, and then I'm going to need you to be this person, and then I'm going to need you to be, and inside you say to yourself, yes, you want to do such a, yes, I do. Maybe you didn't even understand why you were saying yes all the time, but he did.
He did.
And all those dots connect.
All I heard every time I hit my knees was, be obedient.
And I'm assuming your husband's on board and you guys are faithfully following the path that you need to be on.
He's my forever boyfriend.
There it is. And that's the way it's got to be. I mean, you'd have to know my wife, affectionately known as the fly swatter lady, but we're the perfect yin and yang.
Yep.
She's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. She's super meticulous. I'm a little bit sloppy, but it all works out in the end. When I say sloppy, I ain't talking about messy. I'm just talking about like my thoughts go in 50,000 directions. And then she's just like A, B, C, D. Who knows what order I'm going in. So then you meet your man, your forever man. You're at the casinos. What happens after the casino? Talk me to it.
Fast forward 15 years. I was in the casinos 15 years.
Okay.
And after table games department, I was promoted to the executive offices. I worked in the executive offices for a couple of years and then was told from the director, hey, I need you to go back into maintenance and computerize the maintenance department. And I'm like, don't we have an IT company?
Yeah, right.
And they're like, they don't have the time to teach these guys how to put in work orders and how to do things. And I'm like, okay. Again, being obedient. So it was a different learning aspect for me. But it
outside your
taught me
comfort zone, it
to
sounds
work.
like.
Oh, yeah. It taught me to work. Definitely exercising patience, but to work with different ages, different dynamics, different personalities of people. Some of the older guys that worked in maintenance didn't even know how to turn a computer on.
I could relate sometimes. Sorry.
So anyway, it was a great learning experience. Once I finished that, it was, hey, we're terminating your position.
What year was that?
2012.
Okay.
After the great flood of 2011. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. Is that the one where Bill Street was basically had water all up on it? Yeah, I do.
And all the casinos were underwater, and there was literally a tractor in the field, and we were taking John boats with motors out to the casinos from the levee. Yeah, it was horrible.
The Mississippi River rose something like 28 feet or something. It was some kind of like they called it the 100-year flood.
Yes.
I remember all that, yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was great to experience just to help you understand why you have crisis plans and what that looks like and how it's in place. But after that, everybody got really lean. And so I'd served my purpose and God said, okay, it's time for something else. I was really unemployed for 2 weeks, literally.
That's just a vacation.
I started with a lot less money and a different position title. I was membership coordinator. Ginger Adams, Lord rest her soul, hired me at the Southaven Chamber to work for her. And here we sit.
So she hired you, and that was in 2012. And you start out with this one position. So then how long is it before you find yourself moving towards being the president of the chamber?
I was there a year before they promoted me to assistant director.
Okay. And what was your job at that time?
Oh, so we did, I mean, it was a lot. I did marketing. I learned how to do email campaigns. I was doing part of the bookkeeping. I had people coming in, helping reconcile things and making sure that I wasn't doing a terrible job.
Sometimes I ask too big of a question, but I don't know what I'm asking.
It
so
was
it's
a
like,
lot.
I didn't know if it was like a funnel title, but it sounds like
it was a lot.
Whatever
but
may have been needed to a point.
It was great to go through that experience. I mean, I was at the chamber 2 weeks when the FBI came in and subpoenaed all of our financial records.
Oh, mercy. Because
the mayor at the time, Greg Davis, was under an indictment, and they were investigating everything that he had his hand in and everything. It was horrible.
I remember that. Yeah. I don't remember what the charge was. Didn't he go to jail? I thought he
for
did.
A little while.
Yeah. So that was, I remember the scandalous moments. And then that was when the mayoral seat came open soon after that. But that had to have, hang on, I'm trying to do math here. Sorry. I was working through my head hard because I remember those years.
Yeah.
So what year was that then? Was that 20?
I
can't remember now.
So the whole...
He got in trouble like 2002 or something.
Mayor Musselwhite was elected
came in quick.
In 2016.
2016. Okay, that's what I was trying to think. So then he comes in.
No, 2014. I'm sorry. He's been 16 years. He's been mayor.
Mayor, if you're watching this, I want to apologize. I know you've been on my show and we talked about it, but I have slept. And so I apologize. Thank you for putting me on the right path. Because he's Mayor Musselwhite's been on the show. Wonderful guy. We talked a lot about, we ended up talking a lot about baseball, ironically, and we talked a good bit about Southaven, but
gee, I wonder
he played for Ole Miss.
Yes.
And then he pitched against all these big leaguers, and I'm a baseball fan. So anyway, so you move up the ranks, and when is it that you become president?
2021.
2021. So 4 years in at this point, basically. And now we're going to jump into some chamber questions because leading up to this moment, you got to understand when you become a leader in any aspect, a lot of times your ability to manage or to be able to, it's not even manage, because leadership is all about getting other people to want to follow your lead and be able to be a part of what it is that you represent. And that's an action. That's an action. That's why you're in our leadership conferences. And for a person to get to that point and have a broad perspective, they have to have a lot of experiences, I think, in life. It's hard to have a narrow road and be very effective as a leader. I'm not saying it's impossible, but especially if you're going to lead a large group, like as a chamber, you really do need a lot of experiences in your life. And clearly we've covered, you did have that. So the patience part too, I think, is extremely important that you talked about with the IT. So when you get into this, what are you expecting the job to be? And then what was its reality?
I knew I couldn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
I knew that I worked really hard for all of my life making other people look good. And I needed somebody to make me look good. I really needed help. Yeah. I've never been a glory hound, and I've never been one to say, hey, look at what I've done. It is a team effort. And it was really, and it's still to this day, all about our members. It's all about the business community. Mm-hmm. And the passion that I have for business and for helping people succeed, I think has gotten me this far. Mm-hmm. That and grit. You got to have, you got to have that.
If you're not tenacious, it's easy to give up when the rough waters come, and they're going to come. They're going to come.
Got to have the want to.
You absolutely
my grandma
do.
said.
That's right. So I think it's important, though, that you're pointing out the fact that you had to remain humble. But I think your experiences in life also play into a person's ability to stay humble. Think about an individual who rises to a position, because positions, in my opinion, titles are not leadership, even though positions can be positions of leadership, but that doesn't make you a leader.
Agree.
It is the person that chooses the path of trying to help better other people that make the best leaders. Mm-hmm. I also point out whenever I do leadership talks sometimes, and thank you, by the way, she had me come in and speak to some of your youth. What was the name of the group? Because I can't remember the name.
The Bridge Leadership Academy.
The Bridge Leadership Academy. So you actually had a lot of people in there from different areas. You had coaches in there, you had teachers in there, you had young kids in there. So, well, I say young kids, high school kids, college kids. And the big part of it is a lot of times is that you have to stay humble, and you've got to keep yourself in check from where you come from to where you are. And I like to tell people that the greatest leaders sometimes doesn't mean that they're the best or the best examples. Let's face it, Hitler was an amazing leader of sorts because he got nations to follow him. Well, he was the evil leader. You don't want that. You want the ones that lead people by example, that have done things the hard way a lot of times, and now they can share that example with other people and inspire them to do stuff. You don't always want to do that, but building a team helps you stay centered and focused. As a teacher, professor, I got a team around me. I have lab techs. I have other full-time instructors. It is up to me to orchestrate my class and how I want it done. But I can't do that by myself, Debbie.
Right.
I'm as good or as bad as they are. So if they come in and they are not doing things the way that it needs to be done, I'm going to look bad. But in the end, it is still my fault. That's what a leader does. That's what you're saying you do. I may have went too far around the corner to get this done, but I wanted to build the picture of what you're saying is, yes, you are responsible. It does come back to you. But it ain't about patting yourself on the back when it's done. It's about recognizing you can't do this without these great folks. And that's where your job comes in, to motivate them, inspire them, and lead them in the right direction, the right way to get the job done. So when you started into this and you realized this is going to take a great deal of work from a large number of people, I like to talk about coaching. You got to pick the right players with the right talents. How did you develop an eye for that? Because that's not easy.
It is not easy. And I relied a lot on my faith. I trusted that the Lord was going to put people in my path to help grow a team. And that's exactly what he did. So I didn't listen to people tell me you should hire this kind of person or that kind of person. I really didn't care about anything other than their ability and their desires, to talk to them and find out whether or not they were passionate, to find out whether or not they thought of themselves, or if they were already servant leaders. Do you already serve somewhere? Do you already do something else? How much of that is reflective of self? How much of that's for other people? And that was kind of the basis of asking. And honestly, I can tell you, I hired the first person, and then I had that person help me interview the next person. And we together hired the next.
Oh,
and then
good.
The next person helped us hire the final person. So I would do an initial interview, and then if you would, or I would have them do the initial interview, and if they made it past that, then they would do the second interview with me. But it was very much a team effort. I believe that I don't believe in micromanaging people, and I do believe that throughout my years, I had very good leaders and I have very bad bosses.
Oh, you can talk about that too. You can learn from both, right?
Yes,
you can learn how to do something or how not to do something.
Yes.
Are you paying attention is the key. So if you please elaborate if you like, because that is a great point to make for folks.
Yes. I just think that it's super important that you don't ask people to do things that you yourself would not do. And then at the same time, don't be afraid to get in the weeds, because if you roll up your sleeves and do things together, people see that and it's contagious. So they know that you are actually not just walking the walk, and you're not trying your best to rise or be above anything or anyone else, that we're all in it together.
That is so, so true. And I want to blend this to discipline, if I may, because I think being a strong leader, and it doesn't matter what your capacity is, you could be a leader at a church group too. You're being a leader of a community like you are with the Chamber of Commerce, or being in a classroom like myself. When people that you are leading know that you care and love them, and what you just said is big, and I'm big on that. You would not expect someone else to do that you wouldn't do yourself. You're not going to ask something more of someone else that you wouldn't be willing to do yourself. Understanding that there are things that you need to ask other people to do because you can't do everything. At the same time, recognizing that if somebody came to you and asked you, you would be willing to do the same thing. So that is what I am like in the classroom as well. So I'm just correlating this a little bit because I think people get caught up in, I'm the one in charge. You're going to do this because I said so. Not only is that rubbed the wrong way, but that to me also is a great way to turn people away.
Yes.
And that's the wrong kind of leadership.
But how would you ever know what their talents and skill set are if you don't empower them and give them the opportunity to rise to the standard that you set?
Perfect way to transition that, because that's my thought, is you need to give people opportunities and responsibilities, and then you've got to have the faith to let go. But you know how hard it is sometimes for me to let and I say this, and look, if y'all are watching, I know a lot of you do, my lab techs to run a scenario or run a skill that I'm teaching and me go hands off. I ain't gonna lie to you, Debbie. It's hard because I have that OCD in me and I'm like, I just want to step in, but you're right, because I do let them, and I will say, hey, look, we're going over whatever that is. I need you guys to demonstrate this today, and we're going to apply that in a scenario. And how I have to handle it is whenever they get off step, if it's egregiously off step and I know the students are going to go in the wrong direction, I have to politely step in and then correct, which they never have a problem with. But I got to let them do it. And then at the end, we'll talk about it. And a lot of times, you know what I found, Debbie? They taught it right. They just didn't teach the way I do it. And I have to check myself. And I'm like, they didn't say nothing wrong. I'm just used to hearing it in my own head a different way.
Right.
And that's how we grow as leaders as well. So you're right. You got to have faith in your people. And if you don't trust them, why did you put them there in the first place? Steve Jobs said it best. We don't hire smart people to tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they can tell us what needs to be done.
Yes.
In the end, that's the goal. Build a team stronger than yourself, shine on them whenever great things come your way, and then pass it on to the next generation, because we're only here for a whisper of time. All right, y'all got 2 life lessons for Coach Cam. We'll shut up for a minute because I want to hear some more from Miss Debbie King. So if somebody was looking to get into the chamber, let's talk specifically chamber stuff. What kind of things does the chamber offer? A business, and it could be any kind of business. If there's specifics you want to touch on that I wouldn't necessarily know to ask, please elaborate if you will.
So many people think that the chamber is like a social club, or they just do ribbon cuttings. And that's it. When your business first opens, you join the chamber, you put a sticker on your door, you get a plaque that says you're a member, you do a ribbon cutting, and that's it. That's about all. And that is far from the truth. We are a wealth of resources. So from helping you, whether that's posting jobs, we can do that. If you have, and it depends on what phase or stage you are in your business. We've had people that walk through our doors and ask, how do I start a business? I don't know how. We had the group from Leadership DeSoto actually have one of their projects to put together a whole pamphlet, a whole packet of how to do business in DeSoto County. So depending on where they are, we might connect them with the Small Business Development Center, the SBDC. They will help you write a business plan for free.
Wow.
SBA, they do a lot of different loans and funding or help you to find funding for your business. There's grants out there and different things. We also we can help market and promote your business, but we also want to be able to provide, like I said, those resources. So you may own a restaurant and you may need to meet with your management staff, but you don't have a meeting place to do that. Well, we have a conference room and a training room. So we have a space as a member, you're able to use those. So whether it's physical needs that you have, whether it's digital needs of things. We have members that will assist with website, with social media campaigns. We're the connectors. We help to just make sure our businesses have the resources that they need to do business better. I spend a lot of time meeting with folks to find out what their needs are in their business. I also spend a lot of time connecting businesses to business.
It's a big network. It's networking in general, but you guys are the center point.
Yes.
And it's like a connector, too, in a sense that you may see this person's need and you may see this person's availability to help that need, and then you can just join them together and be like, I got somebody for you. Is that kind of what y'all do?
Yes, but we also have programs to help people with either professional development. We started a human resource association right after COVID because a lot of small businesses were calling us going, we need some legal advice. We need to know what to do with our employees. So we reached out to an employment attorney and said, hey, would you like to help us with this? And he said yes. And so Jeff Weintraub from Fisher Phillips gives us legal updates. We have big box businesses that have human resource departments come speak or speak via Zoom to our small businesses to teach them what they do and how to do business better. So anything like that we can offer. We have a podcast, Southaven Business Beat. Our purpose in that is helping to educate our community, helping to capture some of the history of Southaven. Even though we're young, everybody has a starting point.
Sure.
We have history. We have a young professionals group. It's called Southaven Young Professionals, so it's SIP for short. They do SIP and socials. They do SIP and serves. It's for 40 years old and under.
That's convenient because it's Mississippi.
Right.
Sip. I'm just the sip. Anyways, sorry, I couldn't help myself.
That's right. We have a ton of programs, ambassador program. There are a lot of things that we do just to help educate businesses, connect businesses, promote and celebrate businesses, and help establish businesses. So even with economic development, we try our best. We field phone calls to find out about businesses that want to come into our area. We partner with the city. We're a liaison for them. So we reach out to planning director and mayor and ask and find out how we can bridge gaps to help with those businesses and what we need to do. We work well with DeSoto County Economic Council. They do manufacturing and distribution. We do everything else. So we do lodging, we do retail, we do all of the small businesses and even larger corporate businesses, auto dealerships. Home-based businesses can be a part of the chamber. So if you have a business, you can be even entrepreneur, you can be a chamber member. Through that, we also work well with all of the surrounding chambers. We share a lot of members. I believe my team is sick of hearing this, but I always say a rising tide lifts all boats. We're all in the same.
I've not heard that analogy, but I like it.
We're all in the same business.
Yeah.
And that's servicing our members. And we share members, so why would we not collaborate and partner and do things together?
Ironically, and it wasn't planned this way, it just fell this way. So you're following in the same couple of weeks Miss Bailey Harris, which is a big part of the Hernando Chamber.
Yeah.
And I just was wow, because I didn't plan it. You guys and it's like, you know what? It is about community. Her story is very different, of course, and what we talk about in her personal journey, but it is all about community, and you guys helping one another does strengthen everyone. You know, they say iron sharpens iron. There's so much truth to that. And I would imagine right now in Southaven, you guys are busier than you could imagine.
There's
with the
dirt
growth.
turning on every corner.
Everywhere. Right now, Silo Square is popping off. Every time I drive through there, I swear it's like 3 new somethings have popped up, and I'm like, I didn't see that last time I was through here. So it is constant. It's growing all the time. I don't want to pull the cat out of the bag. I think that's the analogy. But I know that the Hope Center that I'm a part of, I'm on the board of directors with, and you've been a part of with speaking and that, we have a big project coming up that could be a possibility at Southaven. So be more dirt turned and more ribbons cut. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to give them, Stacey Dodd. Just get off my back, man. I ain't telling all the tales.
Well, he's one of my bosses. He's on our board of directors.
Is he really? Well, I did know that he was a member. I didn't know he was on the board.
Yes.
How about that?
He's one of the big dogs.
I should know that since we're such close friends. But you know what? He's like an onion, too. There's so many layers to Stacey Dodd. I ain't never going to find all of them. That's just the facts. So then, since you've been president of the chamber, how would you say it has impacted your life personally? And that's a big question, but I know this much. I can give you something on everything I've been a part of, how it has molded the person I've become. So it has to be some serious thought in there, I know. But the chamber is such a big thing with so many people, so many businesses, so many conversations you have to have. It had to help Debbie somewhere along the way.
Coach, don't put God in a box. So my boys, from our first round of children, I'll get into that in a second, but we had his, ours, and someone else's, right? That's the first round of kids. My stepdaughter is not well. My 2 sons, my 2 boys, one is 4th year medical school. He's looking to see where he's going to land for residency. My youngest son is in his 2nd year of surgical residency at UMMC. And his wife, my daughter-in-law, is a pediatrician. When those boys were digging in the dirt and picking their nose, I never would have thought they would have been surgeons and doctors. I never would have thought I would have arrived to be who I am. But I have seen so many times people abuse their title and abuse power and abuse those connections that they have. Praise the Lord, he keeps me grounded. And that I can use my position to help other people. That's really my heartbeat. That's what I want. I'm a servant leader to the core. And the way that I'm affected personally is I can't go to the grocery store without makeup.
I would say you wouldn't be judged that harshly. I don't go anywhere with makeup.
Really, I can't. My kids are like, 2nd round of kids are like, do you have to go to the grocery store with us? Because we always run into people that we know, and it takes 4 times longer.
Walmart is the worst, but it is the best at the same time because you will run into folks. But I have a repetitive nature of running into the same people. It's not like we have our grocery schedules lined up, but like recently I've been running into Mama Michelle. That would be Miss Darlene, also known as Derek's mama. Been running into her over near the fruit section all the time. I don't know why his mom's always over in the fruit section, but I run into her over all the time.
Well, you know what? Those could be divine appointments, and might be that she sees your face to pray for you, or it might be that you see her because you need to pray for Derek. I see he's still in a boot.
He's still in a boot. That is so true. Well, I do like your answer on that because it's relative to the person we have to become, and that is somebody that is looking out for others, and our heart should be about help others. Because I'll put it this way: when I'm having one of the worst days I can imagine, doing something nice for someone else suddenly makes me feel better. That's a thought process some people can't wrap their head around, but it's so true. Being there for somebody else, being a servant leader is key. And being a part of the Chamber of Commerce, you have a lot of opportunity to be able to have a big impact in people's lives. Yes. Now, if you don't mind, because I know that when it comes to the chamber, there's probably a million other things you could mention as a whole, but the gist of it that I wanted people to grab was what it does for folks and why it's important to join, especially if you have a business or you're considering starting a business. I didn't realize that there was the whole Kickstarter thing that you guys could do and help guide somebody down that path. Yeah. So here it is now. You've started to establish your life. You've been doing this thing for 4 years. I don't know what Debbie King looks like now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, what your thoughts were about, I'm going to travel, I'm going to this, I'm going to that. But faithfully, sometimes what we had planned isn't what God has planned.
Round 2, kiddos.
Round 2.
So I mentioned that my stepdaughter wasn't well. Mm-hmm. When our youngest son got married, we were looking for the kids. We knew the baby was months old. We were looking for them to be in his wedding. I already had the tux rented and everything for the 7-year-old. Couldn't find them. When we found them, they were with family members, and they said, "Do you want them?" And we were like, My husband said, "I have to ask my wife."
Oh.
And I was like, "Honey, we have a 4-bedroom house, a full refrigerator, and Jesus. How can I say no?"
Yeah.
And we're empty nesters. We had been empty nesters for about 3.5, 4 years. And so we became parents again. At 50 years old, I got a 9-month-old daughter and a 7-year-old traumatized little boy.
Yeah.
And it has been difficult at best. But that was in 2020. So in 2020, my youngest son got married. The executive director resigned from the chamber. And I got 2 kids.
And don't forget COVID was popping off.
Yes. And I had COVID twice.
Wow. Wow. What else can I pull out of the deck here?
Right. It was a year. But the Lord blesses obedience. And so I love the fact, fast forward, our kids are now 12 and 5, 7th grade and kindergarten, and they are so fun.
Yeah. It's
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You met Kaysen.
I did. Super smart, very inquisitive, which, I'm not saying 12-year-olds are not, but sometimes they ask questions or they give you comments that you're like,
Coach, he's nosy.
Where did you know that from? How did you know that? Yes, he's really very smart kid. And I was when you shared some of that, I was shocked because y'all clearly went down a road with him and a lot of things are working out better. Look, when a kid is traumatized at a young age, it's hard to know how long that person will take to be able to get back mentally stable or healthy. I've known plenty of them because of being a firefighter paramedic in South Memphis. You watch kids grow up in areas that aren't good. You see them go from 5 to literally I'm transporting them 10 years later that's been shot. I mean, that is a real story. And it's sad and it's tragic. So it's not always a happy story. But you guys took that tough spot and you're making it a happy story.
So I was on the board at Healing Hearts Child Advocacy Center. They helped us a lot in the beginning. When we had to travel across state lines to get them. So we had to retain an attorney immediately. And they were incredible. If you don't know anything about Healing Hearts, call Misty Gray. And
I want to put that in our notes too.
They're amazing. If she hasn't been on here, she needs to be on here.
I want her on here.
She's incredible.
You said Misty Hart?
Misty Gray.
Misty Gray. Sorry, it's Healing Hearts, Misty Gray. Okay.
Yep. Healing Hearts Child Advocacy Center. And he's been in therapy. Kaysen's been in therapy since we got him.
Yeah.
But that little girl, the 9-month-old,
yeah,
wicked smart. She's she's great.
Is it fair to say, though, that she, being 5 months old, probably didn't have a lot of memory from that?
None.
So it's just, that was probably a little bit of an easier path, other than, I ain't gonna lie to you, 5 months old. Man, I remember catching myself be like, oh, my daughter, when she was little, I was like, please come on, 5 years old. Where you at, 5 years old? I need you to be at 5, girl. In the months, and then the 1 year, and then the 2 years. The 2s were bad. The 2.5s were worse.
Well, there was some challenges that women at 50 have that guys don't. So I was changing diapers and having hot flashes.
My wife is in that. She's in that mode right now. I know all about it from a sideline perspective. I just try to stay out of the way. So when you're having those moments, you're taking care of a baby. Man, I know. So what's going through your head? What's going through your mind? What's going through your husband's mind?
He was like, this is really a lot for us. And again, as we prayed and talked through it, there was never a time where either of us said, oh my gosh, what were we thinking?
Right.
God has always provided, and everything. It has not been rainbows and puppy dogs, but it's fun. And you know what? It's life. I can't imagine where those 2 babies would be if God hadn't used us.
Right.
So, and they've blessed us just as much as we've blessed them. I prayed for a little girl. I wasn't supposed to have children at all. So after I had my son, I wanted a little girl.
Yeah.
I lost 3. I never had another one. And so this was, I mean, God has a sense of humor. He could have given her to me a lot earlier in life, but hey, okay, here we go.
True, fair enough. So do you see all those years of going through the different things you've been through, and then the early growth of a family suddenly, and all those tools? I like to think of tools in a toolbox, if you will, from life, how they prepared you better for that moment. And think about if you had had an easy path and never had a hiccup, and there was no dramatic moments or trauma moments in your life, and then all of a sudden at 50, this is thrown upon you. How much harder that would have felt. You know, there was a quote, and I don't want to say who said it because I will mess that part up. But the quote is, if you choose an easy life, things will be hard. But if you choose a hard life, things will be easy. That basically meaning the conditioning you put before yourself, and sometimes not always what you choose, but you accept to take the challenge, is building you for a stronger you later, and you didn't even know you needed it.
Exactly. If you don't push yourself, how will you ever know the ability and the capability that you have? True.
And the impact can be profound. So here you find yourself, mom again, 12-year-old, 5-year-old, Debbie King, going on 5 years in the chamber now. What do you see yourself doing in the next 5? Talk to me.
We have lofty ambitions for the chamber. For the Southaven Chamber. We are in the throes of accreditation through the U.S. Chamber, and that's a lot. It's like a 9-section, 120-page application, and they want to know everything about the chamber. So our goal is to be accredited within the first quarter of the year, which is going to be huge. I have some lofty visions of things that I want to do to help those starter businesses. We stood up a foundation under the chamber, a C3 under our C6. That's what Leadership Bridge Academy.
The thing I spoke with.
Yeah, that's under our C3, under our foundation. We've already been able to grant in 2 years 6 scholarships.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they're non-traditional scholarships. So those scholarships go straight to the kid to use immediately instead of waiting until they apply at a school. I feel like college isn't for everyone, even though it was a bucket list thing. I wanted to finish my degree. And so I am now in the throes of that, as well as raising 2 kids. I have about a year left on my degree, and it's in organizational leadership. So some people, the University of Life is really their their college. It was mine. There are people that need to go to technical school, vocational schools, apprenticeships, but all of that still takes money. And so for you to be able to offer them a non-traditional scholarship, I'm thinking those scholarships are going to be applied to like certification application fees or something like that. I was so naive. These kids need that money now. One of the guys that was granted a scholarship cried because he said, this will help us pay our light bill.
Oh, wow.
One of the other ones said, I just need to get my car fixed.
That's the college of hard knocks. That's life coming at you, and you need something to keep going.
And so
That's
for
beautiful.
them to go through these leadership classes and learn soft skills and learn what it's like to be a good leader and find out how you can have more on you, more expected of you, more done, and be able to accept that and have a mentor and someone rooting you on and coaching you on and saying you can do this. Yeah. That's invaluable. I would have loved to have had that when I was 19 and working 3 jobs.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up.
And the truth is, the funny thing about that is if you would have had something different, maybe you wouldn't have been as prepared for this. It's such a weird thing. I ain't going to go down this rabbit hole. I swear I ain't going to go down this rabbit hole, but I am going to mention it. My first marriage, and I'm just going small rabbit hole, small. It's like a little baby hole. My first marriage, there was many times I thought to myself, boy, I really made a mistake on that. But if I hadn't had my first marriage, I'd have never met my wife from my second marriage because I'd have been in a different place at a different time. And I'm quite certain I would have found someone many years before. And my whole thought is I can't discredit some of my difficult past because I wouldn't have the present and the desire for the future that I hold now. So you always take all those things. When a person often says, would you do it different? And they say, no, I wouldn't because I wouldn't be the person I am today. Do you know how much truth there is to that? Man, there's so much truth to that. But yes.
Every road is gravel until it's paved.
Amen, girl. I need to write down you give me a couple good ones today. I like those kind of comments and great analogy too. So the point is that I think that you definitely should appreciate the tough times because it will prepare you for other moments in life that will maybe sink you, but now you'll be able to fight through it and keep moving. And you're right, being able to offer that to someone else, that might be the thing that keeps them going. Where somebody was ready to give up. And that's the exact moment they needed you to step in with a non-traditional. If you hadn't taken action, you hadn't went down that road, that person may not keep going. And we don't want to talk about the what ifs after that. So Miss Debbie King, you are a shining light in your community for all the right reasons. And I know that the chamber is blessed to have you. I have no doubt about that whatsoever. Me getting to know you a little bit like I have and knowing that our friendship will continue. I look forward to all the good things we're going to be able to see done around DeSoto County. Before we wrap up, I do want to hit on one of the things coming up for the chamber. Now, when this comes out, it'll probably be sometime in November, if not definitely early December. You guys have to understand the whole editing, timing, process deal is a whole thing there. But this will come out before the Christmas parade. So we can definitely hit on that. Talk a little bit about the Christmas parade and what the events for the city, when things come up and you're prepping that, what goes into that from the perspective of the chamber?
So we started meeting about the Christmas parade in July. We file a permit just like anyone else for an event. We incorporate and make sure filing permits, a lot of people are like, I don't understand, and that's dumb. But what you need to know is that puts the city on notice so that they can prepare better. You have police involved. You have your public works and parks and recreation and all those different people that may either volunteer to help you or be notified of what's going on, because that permit goes before the city department head meeting and they walk through what ifs. They walk through the preparation of, okay, does this department need to help do anything? What do we need to do about this? How is this going to impact our police? How is this? And so permits are necessary and people don't understand it.
A lot of moving parts.
From that, yes. that was my next thing to say. So many moving parts. So from even registration and starting people in the process of registering for floats and cars and bands, high school bands, we have to contact them. All that has to be coordinated. Yeah. You have a volunteer coordination base. It takes us about 40 volunteers to do the parade. And then after meeting with the mayor, he was like, can we have a gathering at the end of the parade? So we started that, and it's called Santa's Workshop. It's really like a arts and crafts kind of thing. But because we are so focused on the parade, we've gotten nonprofits to help us with that aspect. This year, the Hope Center is going to benefit from a portion of the proceeds for that. What we have for sponsorships and entry fees, the Christmas parade's not a moneymaker for us.
Yeah.
It is one of the two major B2C, business to community events that we do. Most of our events are B2B, business to business. But two of the major community events that we do is Halloween and then Christmas. And so our Christmas parade is really, we've shared with all of our members, it's one of the most inexpensive way to have a captive audience for them to be able to see your brand, your logo, and what you're about. We love to be able to promote our businesses always, but especially to our community. So we want them to see what that's about. And parades are just fun.
I was going to say, who doesn't like a parade?
Right.
We go to at least one parade every Christmas. Every Christmas. We can't make all of them because then sometimes the respective cities will have them on the same weekend, same night. It just happens that way because we got cities all surrounding us.
Well, that's intentional. So if you're building this elaborate float,
you want to use it a couple times if you can.
Right. Who can store that? Who keeps it from getting damaged? What if it rains? So if you do them all consecutively, that person, and a lot of times they will go from one parade to the next, knock it all out one day, and then it's been worth their time and effort of putting that elaborate float together. We had some pushback because we moved our parade from night to day.
Daytime, yeah.
But what a lot of people don't realize is our population on a Saturday night triples. You have people coming to Southaven to shop,
to eat. For sure, to eat.
It triples. So you're pulling a quarter of your police department off the streets to help with a Christmas parade when they're needed the most. And I was like, ooh, great point. So we moved it to the daytime to be able to help and want our businesses along State Line Road to participate. So we would love for them to do sidewalk sales or to be able to have people park, shop early, stick around, watch the parade, or shop after. It's not to hinder business or commerce in any way. It's really to help enhance and have those people in your parking lot that may normally not pack out your parking lot and have them really patron your business. That's what we're hoping happens.
Yeah. Man, that was a great point. I guess I never thought about it. So you just said that, of how it does pull so many resources. And then you're right. If you have a third of your police department following around or, protecting a parade, making sure people don't drive through the middle of it, which, Lord have mercy, I've seen that before. You're all of a sudden the other areas are limited to your response. And hey, when you're a big city, let's face it, the bad guys are looking for opportunity. That's the bottom line. There may only be 5% bad guys out there, but those 5% will exploit those moments. So that's a great point. I will say this. You're not small.
We used to be a very small town.
Yes.
So we were able to have a community pool. We were able to have an elaborate nighttime parade. We were able to do things differently than we can do now because of our population and the density and space of a lot of people. It's just recipe for a bad time if something terrible happens, and you want to be able, number one priority is to keep people safe.
Hope nothing happens, but prepare like the worst will.
Absolutely.
And that's how you'll always be on point. We were just talking about this last night to my daughter. I said, when I was growing up, we had 4 high schools in all of DeSoto County: Horn Lake, Olive Branch, Hernando, or Southaven, and that was it. That's all we had. And now I don't even know how many high schools. I don't even want to try to think about it. But that's a great point. You guys are doing some great things, and I am honored, by the way. So I'm a big part of the Hope Center. Thankfully, Stacy Dye brought me into that a while back, and I just love it. And we are going to be the recipients. I plan on driving my car through there, and we're going to have some kids. It's going to be fun. And I know this comes out after Halloween, but I'll also be out there with you, Miss Debbie, from at least 4 to 6, helping with traffic. You may not be out there, but I'll be out there with Stacy Dye. You'll be out there, and we're going to be directing traffic or something. I'll be doing whatever they tell me to do.
You will not believe the amount of people
I believe that there will be more than I can believe.
For some free candy.
I know.
It's like, it's just candy.
Yeah.
But they're everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun.
Sure.
So we've built it every year. It's grown. We've outgrown spaces that before we started. Again, safety is number one priority in everything that we do. So if we can't do it and do it safely, we don't need to be doing it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking some time out of your day. I know that you were at work. I was at work. We were busy. We're rushing in here. We're making this thing happen. But I just feel like your message is so important. There's so many parts of your life that I think people will also endure themselves to, because let's face it, it doesn't matter what position you're in or what you've been through. You have a story that somebody else needs to benefit from. And if you don't ever tell it, they never know about it. And I think it's important for people to know the person they have in Southaven at the Chamber of Commerce, working for them, and where her heart is. And even though I know it and other people may know it, now all of DeSoto County can know who Debbie King is and why it's important to go up there and support her, support the businesses in Southaven. And other DeSoto County has a lot of shining stars in it. Sometimes there's some negatives out there. People want to focus and gravitate toward that. How about we focus on some positivity, folks? That's what Motivate with Coach Camp is all about anyways.
Yes.
As we wrap up, is there any final words you want to say to anybody? Last pearls of wisdom, anything Miss Debbie wants to say?
I want people to know that you can do it. You can do it. Whatever you set your mind to do, you can do it. And whatever you tell yourself, you're going to believe. So if you believe you can't, you won't. If you think you're not good enough, you're not.
It's true.
Words are powerful. So feed yourself full of good, positive words. Think the best and always push yourself. Comfortable?
You're probably not doing enough.
No.
If it doesn't scare you, go bigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to take risk, and you have to see that you were built and born for bigger things.
Amen. I agree 100%. I can't say it better. I have nothing more to say. Debbie King, thank you so much.
Of course.
If I can ever help out the Chamber of Commerce, you know me. I will be glad anytime to come out and speak, throw some positive words their way. And look, let's build this thing better together, because that's what it's all about, is community. And that's why I wanted you to come in and speak.
Let's do it. Sounds great.
Thank you guys for tuning in each and every week. I cannot say how blessed I am, because there's not big enough words for that, and I'm not that educated. But I will promise you this: as long as you continue to tune in, send me that positivity, you're going to keep me motivated, and that's what we need, my friends. We need each other. So I'm going to ask you right now, please go to my website, motivatewithcoachcamp.com, subscribe to my YouTube, and until next time, Coach Camp out.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape,